FDA recalls. Frito-Lay, the PepsiCo division that manufactures Lay's potato chips, has been subject to multiple FDA recall actions. The most persistent category involves undeclared allergens, specifically milk and wheat, appearing in products whose labels carried no warning, posing anaphylactic risk to sensitive consumers. Recall classifications range from Class 2, meaning remote probability of serious harm, to Class 3, meaning unlikely to cause harm but still in violation of FDA standards. FDA inspection records obtained through public requests have also flagged PepsiCo manufacturing facilities for inadequate sanitation protocols, pest activity, and the presence of foreign material, a regulatory term for physical objects that should not exist inside a sealed food package. The Olestra scandal. In 1996, the FDA approved Olestra, a synthetic fat substitute developed by Procter & Gamble for use in snack foods. Frito-Lay introduced Wow chips under the Lay's brand, full-flavored potato chips with zero fat content. The FDA simultaneously required manufacturers to print a warning on every bag. Olestra may cause abdominal cramping and loose stools. The adverse event reports that followed set a record. Thousands of consumer complaints were filed with the FDA, making Olestra the most reported food additive in the agency's history at that time. Reported symptoms included severe gastrointestinal distress, anal leakage, and oily staining of clothing. Olestra also inhibits absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Frito-Lay continued selling Wow chips until 2004. The FDA removed the mandatory warning label in 2003, a decision that drew criticism from nutrition scientists. Olestra remains legal in the United States. It was never approved for food use in the United Kingdom, Canada, and across the European Union. The all-natural lawsuits. Beginning in 2012, Frito-Lay faced a series of class action lawsuits in federal court, challenging its use of the label all-natural on select Lay's products. The central claim in Rojas versus Frito-Lay was that chips marketed as natural contained genetically modified ingredients, specifically GMO corn and soy-derived oils, and that consumers paid a price premium under a false impression. The FDA has never established a legal definition for the word natural on food packaging. This regulatory gap allowed companies to apply the term with minimal restriction for decades. Frito-Lay agreed to remove all natural language from the affected products but admitted no wrongdoing. The labeling practice had already generated its returns. Sodium engineering. A standard serving of Lay's classic potato chips, listed on the nutrition label as 15 chips, contains 170 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends a daily maximum of 2,300 milligrams. A single full-size retail bag holds approximately 3 to 4 labeled servings. The sodium level in Lay's chips is not incidental. Investigative reporting, most notably Michael Moss's 2013 book Salt, Sugar, Fat, documented that PepsiCo employed food scientists specifically tasked with identifying the bliss point, the precise salt-to-fat ratio that maximizes palatability and drives repeat consumption. The company's slogan, "Betcha can't eat just one," reflects the outcome of that research. PepsiCo has lobbied against proposed FDA sodium reduction targets for packaged snack foods. Plastic pollution litigation. In 2021, the Clean Air Coalition of Western New York filed suit against PepsiCo in federal court, alleging the company was the leading source of plastic pollution in Buffalo's waterways. The primary evidence was Frito-Lay and Lay's packaging, a multi-layer foil plastic laminate engineered to preserve chip freshness, found contaminating local ecosystems. Lay's bags cannot be processed by standard curbside recycling programs in the United States. PepsiCo publicly committed in 2018 to making 100% of its packaging recyclable, compostable, or biodegradable by 2025. That deadline has passed. A single Lay's bag requires approximately 80 years to decompose in a landfill. Acrylamide exposure. When starchy foods are cooked at high temperatures, the method used in commercial potato chip frying, A chemical reaction between asparagine and reducing sugars produces acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a Group 2A substance, a probable human carcinogen. The FDA has acknowledged acrylamide in fried snack foods as a public health concern since the early 2000s. California's Proposition 65 program, which requires consumer warnings for products containing chemicals known to cause cancer, has targeted chip manufacturers over acrylamide levels. Lay's chips have appeared in related enforcement actions. No federal mandatory labeling requirement for acrylamide in snack foods currently exists. Shrinkflation. Between 2010 and 2023, the net weight of standard Lay's retail bags declined across multiple product sizes while prices rose. This practice, reducing product quantity while maintaining or increasing price, is categorized by economists as shrinkflation. PepsiCo reported $91.5 billion in net revenue for fiscal year 2023 during the same period that consumer advocacy groups documented the reductions. Lay's bags are legally required to display net weight. They are not required to disclose what percentage of the bag's volume is nitrogen gas, which, in independent testing, has accounted for approximately 59% of total bag volume. Ultra-processed classification. Lay's potato chips are classified as ultra-processed foods under the NOVA system, a nutritional framework developed by researchers at the University of São Paulo and now used by public health agencies in more than a dozen countries. Ultra-processed foods are defined as industrial formulations that contain little or no whole food and are manufactured from substances extracted or chemically modified from food. A 2024 meta-analysis published in the BMJ, drawing on data from nearly 10 million participants, found that high ultra-processed food consumption was associated with a 50% increased risk of cardiovascular disease mortality, a 48 to 53% increased risk of anxiety and depression, and elevated all-cause mortality. PepsiCo has opposed the adoption of front-of-package ultra-processed warning labels in the United States. Allergen cross-contact. Frito-Lay manufactures dozens of chip varieties across shared production lines. The same facilities process peanuts, tree nuts, milk, wheat, soy, and sesame, all 9 major allergens recognized by the FDA under the Food Allergy Safety, Treatment, Education, and Research Act of 2021. Multiple Frito-Lay recall actions have been initiated specifically because milk or wheat was present in a finished product with no allergen disclosure on the label. Voluntary may contain advisory labeling is inconsistently applied across the Lay's product range. Environmental footprint. PepsiCo's global snack manufacturing operations consumed approximately 5.4 billion liters of water in 2022. Lay's potato supply in the United States draws heavily from the Columbia Basin in the Pacific Northwest, a region already subject to irrigation stress. The Frito-Lay production facility in Modesto, California has been cited by environmental groups in connection with local air quality concerns related to manufacturing emissions. Flavor engineering scale. Lay's markets more than 200 distinct flavor variants across its global product range, developed through systematic consumer taste research in each target market. Flavors are calibrated to local palates: nori seaweed in Japan, hot and sour fish soup in China, pickled cucumber variants across Eastern Europe. The process is the same in each case. Identify the regional bliss point, formulate to it, and test for maximum repeat purchase behavior. The economic logic is self-reinforcing. More flavors mean more shelf facings in retail environments, which crowd out competitor products. The flavor count is a distribution strategy as much as it is a culinary one. Market dominance. Lay's is the best-selling potato chip brand in the United States, holding a consistent retail market share above 30% in the salty snack category. The brand operates in more than 30 countries under the Lay's name and in additional markets as Walker's, Sabritas, and Chipsy. Global annual retail sales exceed $5 billion. In 2023, a single Lay's flavor development competition, Do Us a Flavor, generated over 3.8 million consumer submissions in the United States alone. The campaign cost less to run than a comparable national television buy and produced measurably higher brand engagement metrics. The winning flavor was not the point. The data collected from 3.8 million participants was